Yeah, I can't. I need to figure to do someone next. So, what is up? Did you see that intro, Lindsey?
I did,
You
yes.
like that?
It looked
Pretty cool, huh?
awesome.
So
Yes.
there's this chick. Her name is okay. There's this girl, not chick. Her name is actually Lindsey Sterling, and she plays all these songs with the violin. So I thought that was kind of cool, and that was Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. But welcome to the CheezeTalk Podcast. I'm your host Brian. Tonight I'm joined with a good friend of the show, Lindsey.
Hello,
Her
thank you for having me.
Yeah, kind of a new inaugural show with a new background and format and all that cool stuff. So we'll be
Yeah,
talking about Packers and maybe a little bit of college football tonight.
sounds
Um,
great.
but first, I do remember seeing something where you got a call or an email about some type of judging
Yeah. So
competition.
I don't know, if you're familiar. I coached springboard diving in NCAA for 16 seasons. I coached at Minnesota State for 6 or 7, and then I coached at Oklahoma Baptist University for 9 seasons. Our team was cut in 2021 along with a bunch of changes the athletic department had made. It was cut along with 7 other sports. I think we're continuing to see this. Trend happening where sports are being removed. Unfortunately, our swim and dive team was cut, but luckily, I'm getting to stay part of the sport. I've been invited to judge NCAA championships in March in Indianapolis, so I'm going to go and try my hand at judging. I've been one other time, and it was so fun. I have a lot of friends and connections in the diving community still, and I'm very grateful to be part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
I think so. Last time we talked, was it preseason or was preseason not even started yet?
I don't know if preseason had even started yet. If so, maybe we had one game. I don't think we were that far into it yet.
So from what we saw in preseason to where we're sitting at now, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm just so impressed with the way the defense is playing. I think the defensive coaching change was a much needed thing, and I think we're beginning to reap the benefits of that change. There are so many players just playing out of their minds right now. A couple of rookies playing outstanding. Obviously, I think getting McKinney was probably the steal of the century in terms of defensive play. So it's been super exciting to watch. I think that we have a very high ceiling, and I'm excited to see what happens with the rest of the season.
Right. So kind of like right away, I don't know if Halfley's system didn't seem to impress me too much, but now we've had what McKinney's had 5 interceptions. Um,
Yeah. It seemed like it was a little bit of a slow start, and obviously we had the first game in Brazil that didn't go our way and resulted in an injury to our QB1, which of course you never want to see that in week 1 and wondering what's going to happen after that. Thankfully, we were able to incorporate Malik Willis into our game plan and go ahead and win a couple more games with him, so we didn't really lose any standing, which was awesome. But I think you're right about that. It did feel like it was a little bit of a slow roll to start with, but I think now we're seeing the team chemistry. We're seeing the players feed off of each other and really embrace the coaching scheme. So I think it's awesome.
yeah. Speaking of Malik Willis, isn't that crazy what he did for us in those 2 games?
Yes, it's a wild, and I had so many friends telling me like, "Oh, he's trash. He's no good." Like, and I thought, well, have you been watching? Yes, he is good. Look at what we've done. Like, his job is to go in there and try to preserve games and win games as the backup, and he did just that for us. So I think the Malik Willis experiment has gone pretty well for us in Green Bay.
Do you think he'll be the highest paid backup quarterback in the offseason?
I at this point, I don't know. I mean, injuries are happening up and down the league, and so obviously, you want to have someone good to fall back on, and I think we were very fortunate to be able to pick someone up who could exactly do that for us. But yeah,
And
I would be surprised if there wasn't, some interest in him postseason and to see what happens for him moving forward. I loved the revenge game in Tennessee. That was incredible. And I know he said I don't call it a revenge game, but I think a lot of us fans sort of felt that way. And he gave us what we were asking for.
well, I think he'd rather play in Green Bay than Tennessee anyway. He seems
I
to
think so too. Yeah, it seems like it.
he knows the floor and
Mhm.
he kind of knows the offense in a way, and it was just crazy how like thinking back to when we had him at those 2 games, and this how we had him for like less than a week, and they were able to game plan around his strength. And like we didn't
Yeah.
really throw the ball like a crazy amount of times, and they
No.
knew we were gonna run, and they still couldn't stop us.
Yeah,
You
no, it's
know,
like he just stepped off a plane, read the playbook and said, "Let's go," and we made it work. I think that's a true testament to the coaching staff for using your players as they're designed to be used, and playing to their strengths, and just doing anything you can to pull out the win. And fortunately, it worked for us these couple of times.
right? Yeah, I'm just glad that we were able to kind of weather the storm when Jordan got hurt. We
Hmm.
I I guess I didn't know what to think. I knew they'd probably that they'd try to find a way, and whatever they did worked. And since he came back from his injury, he's been balling. So
Yeah, yeah. It looks like the first week back, you could tell there was maybe a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of hesitation. It looked like he was maybe throwing off of his back foot a little bit more than he typically would, although he did that last game as well. But it looked like maybe the knee seemed, maybe a little bit unstable, or he wasn't super confident in it in that first game back. But I mean, since then, he's been lights out. I think he looks awesome.
yeah, it's funny you say that because there's memes going around of I don't know if you've seen it with Jordan Love. On one shoulder he has Brett Favre, and the other shoulder he has Aaron Rodgers. You know, I
Yes.
would like I'd like he's kind of like more teetering towards I think playing like kind of like a loose Brett Favre. I think which is a good thing. He won. Hey, if it
Mhm.
leads to winning titles, I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he just really, been it's fortunate enough that the O line holds that he can take his time back there and kind of see what's downfield and make those decisions. And the way that he is just threading that ball is insane. I mean, we can talk about some Christian Watson grabs, some Romeo Dobbs grabs. Like this has been incredible to watch, and I feel like the momentum has just started, and it's just going to keep rolling. I'm so excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, same here. I just think they're getting better and better every year, or every year. Well, every year, but every game. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
just it
yeah.
seems like even. I mean, we had Dubs out 2 games ago for I don't know what it was for, but it seems like he came back and they kind of
Mhm.
hopefully hashed things out, and they just seem to be playing awesome as a team. They all trust each
Yeah.
other, so it's
Yeah, it
um,
was it was awesome to see the camaraderie around Dobbs when he came back and he scored that first touchdown in that game that he came back, and just to see the whole wide receiving core run over to him and be excited and hugging and just supporting him. And I think those are the kinds of things that championship teams do. They have that chemistry. They have the support for one another, and it was evident that day that no matter what has happened, no of us none of us know for sure. It's not our job to speculate. I don't think that helps the narrative at all for any of us to sit here and say, "Oh, he's this or he's that." What matters is that he played his heart out. His teammates supported him, and it was great football.
and he's making good catches. That's the thing too. Like
Absolutely.
speaking of receivers, Christian Watson, everybody expects him to be like some like stat grabbing, like 10 catches for like 180 yards and like 3 touchdowns. But a lot of games, he's getting catches when he's making crucial catches. He's maybe not getting like 2 or 3 touchdowns, except for what game was that where he had was it 2 games ago? I think it
I
was two
think
games
so.
ago
Yeah, yeah.
where they're saying that like LaFleur drew up the play like on the sideline, and like if you do like I had a still shot, and at one point anybody on the offense that was an eligible receiver was wide open, but they happened to hit Christian Watson up
Hmm.
by the end zone, and but it's just I like how like as far as like what we see, they don't care about a wide receiver number one. They just want to go out there and play together as a team and be a dominant group.
Yeah, yeah. And if it's not broken, I mean, why try to fix it? I feel like every player, knows their role. They're willing to step up into any role. Can we talk a little bit about some of these offensive players blocking as well, so
Yeah,
that they can make room for like, you know, Luke Mus or Tucker Craft to run or something? I mean, this has been an incredible team effort this year, and I feel like if we, stay true to who we are and we keep doing this kind of stuff, like it's gonna take us a long way.
yeah, for sure. And like last year, I thought Musgrave was going to be the breakout tight end, but then this year is Tucker
Yeah.
Kraft.
Oh my
And
gosh, yeah, he's
he's
playing like his hair's on fire. It's awesome.
he's making some great plays, and that's the thing too. You can't just be a receiver and just catch all day long. You got to be able to block,
Mhm,
unless you're a
mhm.
little scrawny romp like who's that? I can't think of his name now. A speedster in Kansas City.
Oh,
The rookie they drafted.
oh gosh,
Son of
I
a.
don't know.
But he's from, where's he from? Who's that receiver for the Chiefs? That fast one, Worthy.
Oh, yeah, he's from Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he probably go block and get hurt. Okay, bye. Yeah, that and I want to see more out of Marshawn Lloyd as well. You know, at running
Hmm.
back.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we're seeing what we expected out of Jacobs. You know,
Hmm.
and I think Jacobs was a good addition. But did you notice in the game last night, the Viking game that they lost to the team that we beat, um,
Hmm.
where Aaron Jones, you slow him down, the team slows down. Did you notice that? They're giving him the
So,
ball, and he's having good production, and then all of a sudden, they didn't go to him so much, and they ended up losing the game.
well, I
But
mean, I think we know from experience that like if he's in his zone and he's on his roll, like don't take the ball out of his hands, right?
yeah,
I unfortunately did not get a chance to watch that game last night, but except for I did watch the very end. Obviously there was a bit of a controversial call there at the end.
come on.
Um, you know, I think it was a pretty clear penalty. However, I guess don't set yourself up to be in the hole going into that part of the game, and you wouldn't have to worry about that.
I can think back to a certain year, a certain game in 2015 against the Cardinals,
Hmm.
where I was throwing stuff because when Rodgers got grabbed by the face mask and threw that pick to Carlos Dansby again
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
playoffs. So Vikings fans, get used to it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get every call.
mhm. I mean, it is a subjective sport. It is never going to change. Every team's going to go through it like that, and it's unfortunate that it went that way for them last night. But
But then
you know,
you have Lions fans that go back to the game to where there's the phantom face mask on Aaron Rodgers that
hmm,
resulted in that Hail Mary. You
yeah.
know. But yeah, you're not going to get every call. The refs are
No, no,
human; they
no,
miss
and
calls.
and it's pretty, I think, common like across the board. I mean, every team is getting missed calls. Every team is getting away with penalties that probably should have been called. It goes both ways. And of course, when you end your game like that, you're ending your game in a safety. Like, of course, you're gonna feel like the refs did us dirty. And that's not a feeling unique to their team. That's every team has experienced that. So that's just the way
So
the way of the game, I guess.
so I was just having flashbacks of having like ref controversy, and I coached youth basketball, and now my fifth grader, I'm coaching his team again this year. But last year it was me and two. I was an assistant coach on the team, and we're playing this good team, and like we're beating them. And
Mhm.
there's in basketball, kids tend to like carry the ball, like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
set, and then which back in the day is automatic travel, right?
Hmm.
So there's this team, they were doing it all game long, and they're making baskets, and it's like everything. It just anyway, the kid was carrying the ball. It was a travel, and I'm like sitting there going like this. The ref, like, travel,
Uh-huh.
The ref stopped the game, and like everyone went dead silent. Right? He came over to me. He goes, "Sir," he goes, "I'm not going to call every single travel in a game." I go, "Sir, you've called this many travels all game long."
Where is
But
your
it's just
integrity, right?
we ended up losing the game, but whatever.
Oh no.
But stuff like that, I mean, then the kids kind of fed off of that, and they're kind of whatever. The refs can
Hmm.
really screw a game over if they really want to, but
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I
think it
think
was
that just goes to
intentional. I
show
just
that's
whatever.
obviously true at any level of sport, right? The refs have a hand in it, and that's the way of the game. And I guess if you don't like it, don't play. I mean, we can't change it. If we could have changed it, it would be different by now.
That's my
But
claim to
that's
fame so far, though, is getting called out in front of everybody. But whatever.
do you have like a challenge flag you can throw? Like, does basketball do that? Can we?
Like those Mike McCarthy. Well, up here, Cellcom used to have commercials with Mike McCarthy where like somebody would can be complaining about their phone bill, and then he'd have a flag and he'd throw like challenge, But that was just a flash in the past.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Packers. What do you think about Xavier McKinney, and how dumb do
Oh
you
my
think the
gosh.
Giants are?
Oh my gosh. I mean, can you believe they let him walk?
Do
Like
you remember me
they
saying
just
that when we got him? Like I can't.
yes, like
He's
they
20. He's 24 years old.
I mean, they just basically gave him to us, you know?
Yeah. and I still can't believe every time it's like I still can't believe.
Crazy.
And then they're paying Daniel Jones, and now they might be benching him.
Right?
You know, so I
Ooh.
think we got a steal there. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be our go-to guy here for the foreseeable future at safety for sure.
Yes, and I love his attitude about it too. Like, of course you want to get a pick every game. Like, who doesn't? That's, your goal in that position. And it's really cool that he did it for that many times in a row. I mean, I can't believe it. It was so exciting to watch, but also the fact that he's like, you know, yeah, it's not all about that. Like, I'm going to make plays where, however I can. It's not just about my own personal thing. It's about helping the team. And so I really love that about him. He seems to be a really good leader. He seems to be willing to
Yeah,
contribute in any way. And so it's really cool.
yeah, and how the Packers, their defense had as many turnovers the first 4 or 5 games of the season that we had all of last year, too.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and that's
just
unreal. Like, what a crazy stat, right?
yeah, it's just crazy how much of a difference a coordinator can make. And Salah is at practice too,
Yeah, I saw that. Interesting. I'm aware that he and LaFleur are friends, so I feel like it's more fun to work with your friends, right? I think we can
right?
all ask Aaron Rodgers about that. Maybe it's more fun to work with your friends. So, um, hopefully he's, found a role there that can contribute in some way. And I'm just blown away that he's even there and helping out. That's really cool.
And he's friends with Halfley as well, and
Oh,
the
awesome.
and I think and the linebackers coach. They all know each other.
Great, the more the merrier,
So
I say. I mean, if you've got obviously something that can contribute. I mean, if you've got a defensive coach that's assisting on offense, which is what I think is maybe going on,
yep,
maybe you're picking up reads that other coaches can't, and you're seeing it from the defensive angle. And I think that that's a really unique way to do things and definitely beneficial for us. So super
yeah,
excited to see him on the sidelines in the Packers gear. Like, this is wild. It's awesome.
because you're trying to pick apart, what you think the defense is going to do based
Hmm.
on that coach's experience, and
Yeah.
I think it's really helping everybody out. And what do you think of Jair so far?
I think he's been great. I loved that what did he get he got a pick six in one of the games, and he was like, "Oh, was that my first one, or was that something that he wasn't even aware that he had done?" I basically, but also like, of course, you gotta love his attitude. You gotta love the heart that he plays with. The man is giving it his all, and I just think he's such a superstar. I really do. I feel like we're gonna see more and more from him. I don't think he's reached, by far like the peak of what he's capable of yet, and I'm just waiting to see when it happens.
Yeah, that was on DeAndre Hopkins too. That pick
Hmm.
six against Tennessee. So
Yeah,
I
yep,
actually I
which
was just watching
now
that clip. I was watching that clip today and saw him cut in front of Hopkins and run it back.
yep. And now
Speaking of,
DeAndre's over at the Chiefs now, so
I don't get it. I mean, yeah, all these guys are ring chasing.
yeah, I mean, it seems like kind of their scheme to maybe sign players for a year or so and then, move on and find some others that are willing to come and sign a year. But hey, hopefully it works out for D-Hop. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I just hopefully if he does get a ring, it ain't Packers and Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Right, yeah. Exactly. 'Cause that's our ring that we're paying
Yeah, that's
for.
our ring. Damn it. Uh, the defensive line. What are your thoughts on the line so far? I know I understand, I kind of begged on Rashawn Gary beginning of the
Hmm.
season but you go back and watch film and he's getting double teamed and which is freeing up other
Yeah,
people.
I kind of feel the same way. Like, I was kind of like, okay, look, let's get this rolling. Like, when are we going to see something from Gary? And then week by week the numbers have started to go up, and I feel like we're going to see increased production and increased numbers from his side of the ball there. Definitely don't count him out, but it's exciting to see him performing a little bit better than he has been. But you're right, yeah, the double teams certainly don't help. It's awesome when he can get through that and start to produce more. So I'm excited with the direction that's going for sure.
And I think Devontae White started practicing a couple of days ago too. So get him
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Yep, to get him back, that'll be good. Hopefully we can see some more good stuff out of Quay Walker. I think he was maybe dealing with an injury for a little bit or something. We weren't seeing him as much. But I think
He
that
had a
he's a
concussion,
tremendous
I think.
player. Okay, I think that he's a tremendous player, and he's still, in the early parts of his NFL career, and I would like to see some more from him, and I think that he's very capable.
I was I don't know how much they're true, but there's there's always rumors some of these Facebook or Twitter X whatever they are profiles that try to like
Mhm.
whatever news, like Packers are like we're talking with with the Browns with like possible like Myles Garrett trade, or it's like, could you imagine Myles Garrett in Green Bay?
I mean, sure, for the player that he is, like that would be wild. But Brian, I cannot not forget that he literally bashed a man in the head with his own helmet. Like I don't know what if there was a penalty for him coming out of that or fine or anything, but like that is wild. And I don't feel like, you know, obviously I'd like to see him in Green Bay if that was possible because I think it would really contribute to the team. But like, let's make sure that we're not going to be doing anything like that to get any weird penalties or any sort of fine or anything, because you definitely cannot hit a man in the head with his own helmet and expect to still play. So
Yeah, some of the stuff that if we did this stuff in real life, we'd be in jail. People in the NFL do it and they get fined.
100%. Yes, that's my whole
Like
point. Like,
I'm waiting for the day to where like someone does like a cheap shot or gets into a fight, and then like
yeah.
the cops come and like handcuff them and take them all. Because I mean, it's workplace violence. If we did that at our job, we get taken out by the cops.
Yeah, I mean, if Scotty Scheffler can get arrested before a tournament, like, why are we not? Not saying that I support that either. I feel there's a lot of stuff surrounding that, but um, I think you're right. Yeah, if we can't walk free on the streets to do that and without risking our our freedoms, maybe we shouldn't be doing that on national TV in front of millions of viewers. But again, time has passed. I don't want to discredit the man for making improvements and for not doing anything like that moving forward. So it would be wild if he ended up in Green Bay. Obviously, it would be a huge benefit to us. So
I would just be worried about what we'd have to give up to get them.
that's exactly it. Yeah, yeah. I don't really. I feel like our team has got some good chemistry, and we're kind of vibing. And I don't really want to let go of any of our pieces right now, until I see, exactly who's all going to do what moving forward.
Yeah, Gary, what are your thoughts on Emmanuel Wilson so far running the ball?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been impressed. Like, he seems to be pretty reliable. Whenever they do turn to him, like he's been able to, make something out of nothing sometimes. When there aren't really doesn't seem that there's yards to be gained, he's been able to do it, and so I think that's exciting and encouraging for a young player. I'm ready to see more.
Yeah, he has a speed, I think, and I think Jacob's throwing the ball. Oh, you saying hi, Riley? My youngest daughter is saying hi.
Oh, hi, sweetheart.
I think if we get Jacobs is, I think he's doing a hell of a job. And then you can have Emmanuel compliment him. Then I think when Marshawn Lloyd gets healthy and comes
Hmm.
back and makes an impact, I think that's going to be huge as well. And I think it's really going to open up the running game even more for the
Yeah, you
Packers.
kind of got yourself a three-headed monster out there if that were true, if everybody was healthy and back. And I know, Jacobs has been so impressive. Just the amount again that he's able to turn into positive yardage and positive production when there's people all over him. I know personally fantasy owners are getting a little bit upset because he's not getting so many touchdowns, but at the end of the day, that's not what matters. What matters is that our team continues to win, we continue to produce, and I think he's an integral part of that system for sure.
Right. I quit playing fantasy football like 10 years ago, so I
Oh,
don't
you
really
did.
care anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm currently winning my league, but we'll see after this week. I don't know.
The last year I played fantasy football, that was when Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb was really
Oh,
good for us, and that
yeah.
was I think I took second place in the work pool, so I did
Nice,
pretty good. But
nice.
it's not time for that anymore.
I got invited to play quite a few years back with a league that was like my landlord at the time and like all of his like elderly friends, and I was only a female in the league, and it was the prize pool was like for $1,000, and I won, and they all got so mad they kicked me out. So
What?
yes, I won it, and then they kicked me out. I was the only girl. I won it straight up. It was the year that Patrick Mahomes was drafted because I drafted him in the very final round. No one had taken him, and then I won the league and got kicked out. So
That's
now
crazy.
we have our own league. My husband and I, we play with our friends and some work friends and all that, and for a little bit of money, but not quite such a high stakes. And I'm trying to win that one this year, so we'll see.
Have bragging rights.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Evan Williams so far, the rookie that's taking the league by storm right now?
Oh my gosh, he's playing out of his mind. This is awesome. Like I love to see I feel like every game that he plays, his confidence is just building. We can feel the electricity. We can feel like how honed in tune he is with what's going on the field. I think he's going to be a huge part of our defense and our production going forward.
Yeah, I liked the that blitz by McKinney last week too when he just leveled him. I think that was the first time I've seen McKinney blitz all year long, at least when I was paying
Yeah.
attention to the
Well,
game.
he's
But
been back there catching passes. He hadn't had time.
yeah, that it's crazy to see like the hybrid they're building that defense. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, it looks really different compared to what we've seen in previous years. It feels young and fresh and new and exciting, and I just hope we can maintain that momentum through the rest of this season because I think some really good things will happen if we can maintain that.
right? And I think Lucas Van Ness is going to break out here one of these games and
I do too. I do
have a
too. I
big.
mean, he was like bodying Will Levis all game, like that game that we played Tennessee. I mean, he was just like slipping and sliding all over that dude. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, and Gary was kind of breaking free last game as well. So hopefully he's kind of
Hmm.
maybe has like a new move he's using or a technique or whatever. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's gonna just give him time. He'll get there. It's just
Hmm.
I think he's just more of a focus for opposing offenses to make sure he's one of the guys they double team you know
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to get beyond that sometimes.
what so I'm going back to the Vikings. So
Hmm.
what do you think they're going to do this offseason? Darnold, well, obviously JJ McCarthy got hurt. He was their
Hmm.
high draft pick
Yeah, yeah,
quarterback
yeah.
out of Michigan. But what? So I was thinking this when the Vikings were what were they 5-0, and they're like,
Hmm.
what are they going to do at quarterback in the offseason? If Darnold has like this MVP type season, and they got to pay,
Yeah.
and they got McCarthy, like what are they going to get rid of him or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think in a way you got to decide who you want to pay, but at the same time, you've got McCarthy and he was a proven college quarterback with some talent, and I think you got to kind of determine how long are you okay sitting behind someone. I think we in Green Bay have been very fortunate that we've had some quarterbacks who have been willing to sit behind and to wait their turn and to learn and develop and grow. And I can't speak for other organizations, but I think those are the choices that they're going to have to make. They're going to have those conversations about, can we retain both people at this salary? Who are we going to be riding with? Can we afford for JJ to sit and pay Sam? Like, those are those conversations that are going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Whatever they do, hope they fail. So
Well, of course, uh, whatever they do, it's going to be the wrong choice because it always is. But
Justin Jefferson, they had a couple of shots at him yesterday. Camera, they
Mhm.
panned to him or whatever, and he just looked like he wasn't having it. He had a couple of big catches, but I mean, gosh, you think for the money some of these guys are making, they'd be like
Mhm.
all over the place with stats, and
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's
Yeah, and I feel like this is typical of their organizations for players to be less than pleased with their role and with their production after spending some years. I remember watching Randy Moss play and him being so upset and basically not wanting to play, and I feel like there's something deep rooted in the organization that needs to change, and I don't know what the answer is, and frankly it's not really our job to care about it as Packers fans. But something needs to, yeah, something's going on for sure. So
yeah. I don't know. Even like Caleb Williams and I'm gonna have Bears fans coming after me, but I don't really care. I still think he's gonna be a failure there as well. You know.
yeah, time will tell. I mean, they've got some wins under their belt now, which is good. I'm excited for us to play them and see what happens. And obviously, Caleb played at OU for that half a season or whatever he was there for. And we were very fortunate that he came in and basically saved our season that year. And so I'm not going to smack talk Caleb, but I question whether they've got the pieces in place to protect him like they need to for him to be productive, as I know he's capable of. So time will
Right.
tell.
And I've been saying, they got to have an offensive line to keep him to throw to these weapons.
Yeah.
And then that brings up, speaking of needing an offensive line, brings up our buddy Aaron Rodgers in New York
Mm-hmm.
and the weapons he has.
Uh-huh.
and the weapon he just got last week, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And apparently, after that game, he ripped into the whole locker room after they lost. Devontae did, and I mean, I don't know. It's like a big soap opera sometimes. You know, it's
Listen, listen, I'm all for nostalgia and a great trip down memory lane, okay? But like I don't necessarily think that these are the moves that's going to win your organization a championship. I mean, you have no O line. You've got to fix that problem. If your 40-year-old quarterback continues to get sacked like that, like we're familiar from our fan base with how susceptible he can be to injury. And I think what are you going to do at that point? You've basically appeased him in every way to build a team around him. And so you need to have some guys that can protect him if that's where your investment is. So
and speaking of investment, I was reading an art or not art our poster. It had like all these teams that were able or that let these players seek a trade or whatever. And Vegas is out almost $30 million by letting Devontae. I
well,
mean that's what wrecks teams.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I guess it just seems to me now that the players are having a lot more say in what happens with their contract and where they end up, and obviously it is their career. They should have some say in it. But I feel like this is a recent change where it seems to be the players are more in control than the organization in a way. Anybody who is asking for trade, or it's pretty rare that it's denied. It seems like teams are more willing to accommodate those type of requests. But at the same time, like, what is this doing to your salary cap? What have you invested versus what you got in return? And how are you going to move forward without that person? So it's an interesting time, and I wonder kind of what other moves we'll see this season.
Yeah, I, reading an article. Someone thinks that Aaron's going to retire after this year, but we've been through that
Yeah, we'll
circus with
see. I
Brett
mean, this
Favre
is,
and
yeah. Exactly. So I wouldn't trust that, especially if it doesn't end well and doesn't go the way he wants. I think he's looking to go out on top, and I think he'll try to play until that happens, and we'll see how compatible those two ideas are, I guess.
I, I just think it's comical, like watching Jets games and like Aaron makes a good pass, then the
Hmm.
what that one that bounced off that receiver's chest off, I think it was a Garrett
Oh,
Wilson, and
yeah.
the guy picked it off, and then they pan back to Aaron, and he just looks so pissed off. It's like
Well, and like, sorry, Garrett, but clearly you lost your job. I mean, he got Devontae back, and that's what he wanted, and so Garrett, like, I guess you're out of your job. I felt like it was maybe going okay for him there. Like, he was finally this year actually getting to play with Aaron and get some reps in and kind of had that connection. It looked like he was going to be the standout wide receiver one. And now all of a sudden, oh, overnight, like maybe your job's gone. I don't know. That has to be super frustrating as a
right, and the
player.
thing about that too is they're saying that Garrett Wilson looked up to Devontae
Hmm.
when he going through college or whatever, and
Yeah.
like Devontae was there, they showed him on the sideline trying to like show him different route or whatever, and uh, but the big move that I think proved to be worth it so far was Amari Cooper to the Bills. He
Okay, I haven't really gotten to watch Bills much this year, so I'm interested to hear. I mean, from you, I guess right now, how you think it's been going, because I haven't really gotten to see a lot of it.
the Bills are a team that I think people sleep on, but they're a decent team. Like the first touchdown Cooper had, it was funny. They were like on the maybe 10-15 yard line, and he was lined up next to Keon Coleman, which is that rookie out of Florida State they drafted. And like
Mhm.
Cooper, you can see Cooper sitting there asking him like, what do I do? Like, what route do I run? And Keon's just like, just run straight or whatever. And sure thing, Cooper gets a touchdown pass, and it's just kind of cool.
I love that. That's awesome.
You got a veteran asking a rookie, like, what do I do here? you know,
What is the scheme? How do I? That's awesome though. I mean, you got to be able to rely on your teammates, right? So
yeah. I've
that's
always
good.
said though, I like the Buffalo Bills fan base. I think they're awesome.
Hmm.
I interact with a lot of them on Twitter, and
Yeah, I follow some too, and they all seem to be great people. I mean, can we talk about the table smashing? How fun is that? Like,
oh
how
my
fun is it that
god,
you got a
right?
tailgate there, and
Especially like you light the table on fire and then you jump from like top of a 1974 RV, and you
yeah,
just
this is like some circus stuff going on out there. It's awesome. Like, I love the passion. I love to see it. It looks like a great time. I mean, tailgating to the extreme. I love it. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, extreme tailgating.
the Bills are my second favorite team.
Awesome. That's awesome.
No, I
I love
mean,
that.
I always said that I like their fan bases kind of remind me of like the Wisconsin Badgers and how like they party and tailgate and then with the Packers. So they'd have to be my second favorite NFL team. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
my favorite AFC team, and but I think
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the Bills people on Twitter are awesome. They're like, yeah, you can joke to us about the 3 Super Bowls in the '90s. We don't care. We're used to it.
Mhm.
Whatever. And yeah, they're fun people to follow and interact with for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that like Josh Allen's out there trying to play his ass off every game. Like he really is like giving it everything he has, and I do appreciate about him for sure. So I'm glad that they're putting some weapons around him to kind of bolster it a little bit. Hopefully Cooper pans out well there and gets to stay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, isn't he's from Wyoming, right? Josh Allen.
I
I think
Yeah,
he's
yes,
from
yes,
Wyoming. Yeah,
yes.
but yeah, he's definitely made a name for himself. He's still not afraid to take hits. He's like a linebacker out there with the football. So
I know. I get so worried for him sometimes. I'm like, what are you, baby? What is you doing? Just slide. Like I don't.
right. Yeah, and then you see Patrick Mahomes, level that guy in the end zone on that rushing touchdown last year. It's just like these guys are out there. You better hope they don't get hurt doing that, or I'm
Yeah,
surprised they didn't
yeah.
throw a flag at the 49ers player for taking the hit.
Right. It's like you got to protect your assets at some point. I mean, but also you want them to play and you want them to defend when they have to. So
Right. Absolutely. Um, what are you looking for Sunday against the Jaguars?
blowout. No, um, I what I've really been enjoying seeing is watching number 56 Cooper on defense. I've been really loving to see his improvement every game and just how he's all over. And I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited to watch um, obviously McKinney again. And I want to see Jordan Love use his full arsenal of weapons this week. Like let's get passes to lots of different people. Let's give everybody some good plays, some good experience out there. I think it's going to be a fun matchup for us.
I want to see Jordan Love burn Darnell Savage
Well,
multiple times.
you may get to see that hopefully, right? Like
Yeah, it's funny seeing the presser with LaFleur and they ask him about Darnell Savage, or I think he's a really good player, and it's like, yeah, he had a dropped interception that would have taken us to the Super Bowl, but
yeah,
what?
but good luck with your new team. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking for a good running game and a
Hmm.
good game from the defensive line and our receivers. I mean, I'm looking for hopefully a route, and I'll say that now. We'll probably have a closer game than what we want, but um, yeah, Trevor Lawrence hasn't really impressed me at all in his years in the
And
league.
my husband can attest to this, but the day he got drafted, I was like, that kid's gonna be a bust. And I don't know why I thought that. I mean, obviously he did well at Clemson. This isn't that he's unproven or anything in terms of playing, but I just felt like with this organization, with the Jags, I just don't know if it's a long-term solution. I think, it's okay for now, but I don't think it's the right answer for long term. So we'll see.
Right, that and you bring up Clemson,
Hmm.
and he made Amari Rodgers look like a stud, and then Amari Rodgers came to Green Bay and was a dud.
Wonk. Yeah, right.
So, but then again, Trevor Lawrence, he was in the SEC and he was good in college.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
had all the weapons, and I don't know. It seems like some players, they play a couple of years, they get a big contract, and they kind of disappear. And he got a big contract this last offseason, and he hasn't really
Hmm.
lived up to anything yet that I can see. And he every time I
Yeah.
see him, he reminds me of Blossom on
Oh
with
my god.
Joey Lawrence.
Oh my gosh.
Mayim,
Yes. Mayim
whatever her
Bialik.
name is. He does. You can't tell me that he doesn't because he
You
does it.
know, I have never thought of that, but now I feel like every time I see him, I'd be like, okay, okay, this is, yeah, okay.
I'll have to go back and find the post that I had. I've made multiple posts about how he reminds me.
That's hilarious. That's a new one. I don't know if I missed those posts of yours or what, but that's a good comparison, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna be looking for it now. I'm gonna have to
I'm
tell
gonna make
other
a.
people
I'm gonna
about
make a.
it.
I'm gonna make a note right here. Blossom.
I'm
But
gonna
no,
have to tell
like
other
I
people.
did like a
Yeah.
before and after picture of like what was it, like Joey Lawrence or
Oh,
not
he
Joey
needs like
Lawrence.
that dumb bucket hat. That's what he needs. Like, remember she wears like that hat with like the
Yeah, no.
smile on.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and now I'm gonna. Oh, I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna tag you in a picture.
Okay, yeah, you
I'm gonna
gotta.
see if I can find it right now. Actually, well, whatever. It's just too funny. Like it was right around his when he signed his contract,
Hmm.
and then I I think I sent a text to a buddy too. Hold on. But no, I don't know. Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence before and after signing the new contract.
Oh no, oh no, it's too good. Oh, what an accurate comparison. That is something else. I'm very thankful that you've just shared that with me.
But the only one that's lived up to his contract so far is Jordan Love. Like
Hmm.
like
Yeah. Yep.
I
You
forgot it was
know.
Lawrence and who else signed the contract this offseason? It was Lawrence, Tua,
Oh,
Tua, and he's
can
tell you what,
you believe that they're gonna let him to continue to play?
I
I
wouldn't let him.
I wouldn't either. I'm just like, man, you've got like your whole life ahead of you. You're super young. Like, why risk your health and safety over this? I'm just so scared it's going to happen again, and that recovery won't be smooth. I'm just so worried about this. These head injuries are a serious deal. There's long term effects, and I can't believe they're going to put him back out there. I really can't. Not because he's untalented. It's nothing to do with his playing. Like that's not it at all. It's just a matter of safety, and it makes me really concerned for his future if he's to get hit again or something.
And like I said it before, I think the Dolphins need to be held responsible for whatever happens to him down the road because they're the ones that botched his first concussion and put him back in the game.
Hmm.
They said he was
Hmm.
okay and they put him back in. That's on your employer at that point.
Yeah. Well, of course he's going to say he's okay. He wants to play. Like yeah.
Yeah, but that's just yeah. It's all about money and
Hmm.
it's kind of sad and um yeah.
It really is. It really is. I mean, it could turn out in a very tragic way, and nobody wants to see that. And I hope, that they do take the necessary precautions and that they do, do their best to protect him when he's out there. Obviously, he's a very valuable player to their organization, and they want him on that field. But you gotta kind of ask about like not just the player but the man and how it's going to affect him moving forward. So I guess
Yeah,
we'll see.
and like he said that it's my decision to come back and play, and it's like, dude, you're better off just taking a bow and taking that. Well, I think
Hmm.
when Jermichael Finley when he retired, there's like a grievance package. It was like $10 million or something like that. Just take the money and be done.
Right. I
You
mean,
know?
look, Andrew Luck did it. Why can't he? I mean, like you got to protect yourself. Your playing career is only so long, but you have the rest of your life after that when you're still so young and you've had this many injuries. I just think it's not a good look on the organization for sure.
Right. Do you think the Packers will lose Halfley after the year as a head coach somewhere?
You know what? I hadn't really thought about that until right now. So thank you, but I sure as heck hope not. I mean, my gosh, I think our defense looks incredible, and I think it's like I said, the whole team's vibing, and I think we need to do everything we can to hold on to everybody. I know it's
Making the,
not highly likely because of we trades are always made, things always happen in off season, but
making the
um, you
highest
know,
paid defensive coordinator in the league.
yeah. I mean, he's obviously making a very good case for himself to go elsewhere and to succeed. But if this is the only season we have him for, then I think we all need to hang on and enjoy the ride because this is the year. You know.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in Green Bay for years to come. I really
I
do.
hope so. I really hope so. Because I have been so impressed with what I've seen so far. It's like the team has just been like re-energized. It's just a different feeling. You used to when defense was out there, sometimes we would just be like, oh God, you're like, okay, and now it just feels so different. It's awesome. I feel like every game there's a much different plan and every, different players are getting to shine and I really have been super excited to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. I uh I just had a flashback of thinking of like past defensive coordinators, and I remember Dom Capers
Hmm.
when I first moved up to Pier. But we just had, I think my oldest, like she was like not even one maybe, and
Mm-hmm.
where the hell were we? Were we at either Red Lobster or Olive Garden? I think it was Red Lobster because they had the big lobsters in the lobster tanks or whatever. When you first walk in, it's
Yeah.
Right by Lambeau Field, and we're sitting there like waiting, and like I'm sitting at a bench, and there's like a railing or like a railing behind me with like people up above eating or whatever, and I hear someone say, "Oh, you got a cute one." And I turn around, look over my shoulder. It was Dom Capers.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I think back to like back 2010, his defense and all that, and Kevin Green. It's just, hope we can have the same success that they had. It's be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
coaching
Yeah,
staff.
I obviously we'd all love to see, a repeat of back in some of our highly touted glory days where we were able to make a trip to the Super Bowl and win. And I don't think there's any reason why the pieces we have in place right now can't do that. Obviously, you have to play out the rest of the season and you have to keep people healthy, and invested and everything. But I feel like it's been going well so far. I'm super glad that Jordan's injury wasn't as serious as we thought, that Christian Watson's injury wasn't as serious as we thought. It's super exciting to see all these pieces coming together, and hopefully it will produce for us in the long run this year.
Right. Speaking of injury, when's the last time we had somebody this year with a hamstring injury? We haven't. I
Yeah,
don't think
well,
that I
that's
know
new.
of.
They obviously did some work in strength and conditioning, I guess, on staff this year. And so hopefully we can maintain that, because yeah, that's awesome not to have to worry about that. Just wondering, okay, who's going to be next? Who are we down next because of a hamstring injury? And it's been great that hasn't happened yet this year. So
Right. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we got a new strength and conditioning staff, and
mhm.
seems to be their injuries aren't popping up as much, and
Yeah,
they're
they seem to be managing the ones that do occur like pretty well, to where people are, as of now, at least so far this year, have not missed significant amounts of time. That's not to say, I mean, obviously any game anything can happen, but it seems like the injuries have been managed well. It seems like the people who are in line behind the injured people have stepped up and done their jobs as well. So overall, like I said, I feel like it's vibing. It's awesome this year. I cannot wait to watch the rest of the season.
yeah. I'm excited for the game Sunday for sure. Is that a noon game? I can't even. No. Yeah, I think it might be a noon
Yeah,
game.
yeah, I think it's noon. Oh, we're being told Iowa Joe said wrong. Marshawn Lloyd was put on IR because of a hamstring injury. Okay, so I guess one. And, well,
Oh, there's two count. There. Oh, shit. Sorry. Who's over here?
it's
Iowa
Iowa Joe.
Joe.
Marshawn Lloyd was put on IR because of a hamstring injury. Well, dang it. Way to disprove
Three
our point. Okay, well,
300 subscribers. Brian will jump through a flaming table.
ooh.
Back in my drinking days, I'd do that for free. Wrong. Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah. I didn't even check the comment section over here. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for watching.
Right. But
Well,
yeah, no,
hopefully
I'm
Marshawn Lloyd's hamstring injury is manageable and it's not, he can come back from it soon, and we can continue to see some more, because he's pretty exciting to watch. So.
yeah, for sure. He is very exciting to watch, and I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table when he's healthy. And yeah, I just hope he can come back this year and make an impact somewhat, and not get cut because he couldn't come back and play because of an injury.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
suck.
and yeah, exactly. So that's not their fault, and obviously you want to give your new guys a chance, and I feel like he showed a lot of promise, and so hopefully he can retain his spot and show us more of what he's got.
Yeah. Did you happen to see that picture of me and Todd at the cheese plate at Great Cheese
No, I
picking,
didn't.
picking up his cheese? Yeah. He
Oh, awesome! I'm so
he
glad, because
he
what an
he
awesome
live.
prize.
Yeah, he actually lives in like the Fond du Lac area.
Hmm.
So he met me there, and he got his cheese and a few other things, and yeah, it was pretty cool that he was able to stop there
Yeah,
and pick up his
awesome.
prize and everything. So yeah, it happened to
Shout
be
out Todd for getting your prize. Awesome.
we were both wearing our cheese life sweatshirts. It's kind of funny. like oh, you guys are both wearing the same sweatshirts. I'm like, yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't planned.
twinsies, yeah.
No, that was pretty cool though. But yeah, well. I'm gonna get going here. My nephew is upstairs giving my wife a run for her money. We're watching him for he's just turned 5 months old. So
Oh my
um
gosh.
so
That
we
is so
have
exciting.
like a 15-year-old to a 5-month-old in the house right now. So it's
You've got a full house right now.
six
Yeah.
kids, yeah. And the
Oh my
oldest
God.
one's being the worst right now. Anyways, on a different story. But no, I want to thank you for joining. We'll I'll reach back out and get you back on here before the season's over. And
Awesome.
I want to thank you for being on. Thanks, Joe, for correcting my mistake. I appreciate it. I think
Well,
the
thank
last
you for
time
having me.
I think the last time Joe made a comment one time about that I jumped through a table full of cheese curds or something like that, and
Well, I mean,
that's
would you though?
no, I'd eat them first.
Exactly. The table wouldn't be full of cheese curds. There wouldn't be any. Have been eaten.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say see you later. Thank you
Yes.
for being on. Appreciate it.
Anytime. It's
I'll
always a
get a hold of
blast.
you and we'll get something planned. And I want to thank Mr. Joe and Ohana Network for giving me the platform to podcast. I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's fun. But yeah, go Pack, go, and we'll
Go
see
Pack
you guys
Go.
later.